you could pick the video you want to play during the countdown?
We made it, so it's all B-roll of DeVore
Oh,
Capital stuff. Yeah.
gotcha.
Mm.
Who's that?
Hey, how you guys doing? It's Ethnin with DeVore Capital. Man, this is DeVore Live, brought to you by DeVore Capital. Man, joining me in the studio today is we have Will and we have Scott. How y'all doing?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Phenomenal. How are you?
Good. Introduce yourself to those who are just jumping on.
Yeah, man. Scott DeVore, founder, CEO of DeVore Capital Group. Also, the man behind Free Factor, the podcast, also sponsored. There you go. You know what it is. And we got the esteemed gentleman to my right. Will, what's up?
What's going on, man? This is going to be fun. You
Yes,
ready?
sir. Will, what do you do? Come on now. You just
What do I do? So I am chief of staff
Yes,
here
sir.
at DeVore Capital. I oversee our real estate, our construction division, have a little hand in our media department,
For sure.
which is your world. A little bit of everything, kind of help Scott help manage his time. You know, we've been going through Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's my primary focus, is to make him more efficient.
Heck yeah. Awesome,
Tough
man.
job.
Man, we got some news to talk about. Obviously, man, we have been, in the day with so much stuff going on with politics. And obviously, we've seen, Trump, an attempted assassination on this life. Man, what do y'all think about that? I got some crazy ideas, but
Go ahead, Will. You already put some stuff out there.
Yeah, you know, I have. You know, the first one, it's sad that as advanced as we are as a society,
Yeah.
for many people, violence is the first option. You know, and that is unfortunate that we have gotten to a place that is so divided, so angry that normal civilized debate, regular conversation is like an afterthought, you know, for so many, you know, but with, you know, just in the last, you know, 5 or 6 years, the chaos that we've seen here in this country, we've seen riots, we've seen, you know, the breakdown of the fabric of law and order, and it just seems to be continuing. And I'm so grateful and thankful that after that event that took place on Saturday, we didn't see riots in the street.
yeah,
We didn't
for
see
sure.
mass chaos, you know, and I think as right, left, you know, and all of that, you know, but as much as divided as we are, I'm glad that I didn't see that
Yeah.
we did not see that. And so, you know, where do we go from here? Because, you know, half inch the other way, we woke up to an entirely different world on Sunday.
100%.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we woke up to an entirely different world on Sunday. So,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
where
no
I'm at.
doubt. I mean, I was in the middle of a very monumental event in my family's life. I was purchasing a car for my oldest daughter
Wow.
when this all went down.
Huge.
So I'm at the car dealership right down the road in St. Augustine, and probably like 15, 30 minutes after the event happened, this is now 6:30, like the place closed at 7, and, you know, we're there. Now we're getting ready to sign paperwork. We already decided on what we want to buy. And I see some alerts, and the alerts were confusing because it was Trump fell down at a rally. Trump, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, no big deal. Then no one was getting really excited at the dealership, even though people were like now like leaving. And it wasn't really until maybe like when we were basically finishing up with the transaction heading home that some of like the real story of assassin, I don't even know if they were even saying assassination attempt, you know, at that point, like at 8 o'clock at night. So I was just extremely confused at like why were the headlines like what they were. And now we're like, you know, 72 hours post the event and there's more clarity, but there's still so many questions
100%.
of actually what went down.
Yeah, I would. There's like a few tiers. Just want to hit on a few of them. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but you know, it's gonna.
You know, everybody who says they're not, they are. Okay.
So I may be, but there's a few breakdowns, right? The breakdown in first of all, not having the perimeter secure, like the highest form
Questionable
of
why.
intelligence and security in our nation is supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, the Secret Service. And so they did not have that covered somehow, some way. The other one is, could there have been an inside job, not in terms of in Trump's party, but they wanted him killed. And then the third one is, you know, an incredible marketing campaign on Trump's behalf, you know, and things like that. Now, obviously, they say it was the AR-15?
Yeah.
And it was 150 yards. Man, risking your life? Like, I mean, come on, like, you know what I mean? And so there's a lot of those things. So what do y'all think about those things? And then also, man, let's just throw this out there. A lot of people are saying, okay, they had a lot of women attempting to protect, the president's life. Do y'all think that had any? Obviously, that doesn't have any regards in terms of like somebody shooting at him, but just a lot of breakdowns in terms of security.
Yeah, I mean, all the stories of them asking for more Secret Service before event, but then the Secret Service director saying that was like not true. Just all the breakdowns. That's why, like, I'm someone, I wouldn't call myself a conspiracy theorist, but I'm thinking of Will's comment as I say that. But I remember, back in 2016, like or even in like 10 years ago, like my prayer was for like wisdom and discernment. And I feel like when I got that prayer answered, it kind of opened my eyes to like so many things like going on in the world, like what is the truth behind stuff. So even if you go back to the last assassination that actually happened, before Reagan, but the JFK thing, like there's still stuff coming out that, was the CIA involved. And obviously none of us were alive when that happened, but man, just really makes you question could there be some nefarious people within our government that's behind like things like that? And, being alive on this earth for 45 years here in America, I'm open-minded to like knowing all the details. So I think when more, cell phone footage comes out, more angles of like what happened, hopefully more answers get questioned, like versus more questions being asked of more confusion. But I still haven't seen any footage of the person who got killed.
Yeah.
Like I'm like confused. Like you would think there would be footage, obviously, that you don't want to show someone getting killed because there's a person life with a family who's at stake. But man, at least like blur it out. I just want to see like what actually happened. I mean, I've seen testimonies of what people said who witnessed it, but I've never seen any footage of it. Not saying that there isn't any, but you would think that some of that would have like come out by now.
Yeah. And I hope some of the reason behind some of that is just out of respect and decency for the family involved.
Yeah.
Wow. And I say that's a stretch because respect and decency seem to be absent from so much of what happens in the media. But so to a couple of points, right? So you have experience, right? Whether it's firsthand learned experience. So I go back to when George Bush was running for his second potential term. He came to the Jaguar Stadium, and I went. And the
packed it out?
Packed it out.
Yeah.
And the security to get inside. Now, there's a difference between an open-air event and a closed-air event, right? So that was a closed-air event. So you had to go through gates. You had to go through metal detectors. My buddy of mine that was with me had a little fingernail clipper on his keychain, and it was removed, right? Thrown away, never to be seen again.
Jeez.
Just to enter. And as we had the privilege of being close, so as President Bush was walking the field, shaking hands, we were close. And the Secret Service led him and shook everybody's hand first and then shook his. So the level of security that I witnessed in that event was top notch.
Yeah.
Now, a little bit different because he was a sitting president at the time, so the level of security that they had for him was a little bit different.
Yeah.
But a couple of things. When you think of the role of a Secret Service agent, right, that is to protect the life of the president. So man, woman, that's a whole nother conversation. But just the height disparity between former President Trump and the people that are guarding him. So you're supposed to be able to take a bullet for this man.
100%.
Right. You cannot do that if he towers over you a foot and a half.
100%.
So there's that piece of it. And then just I saw the article today that said that the shooter walked more than a mile carrying a rifle and a 12-foot ladder to get to the spot.
This is crazy.
Okay. Yeah. Now I know having served in United States Marine Corps, I can shoot. And I was talking to my wife about this. I have an AR. I could take my 9-year-old, and after about an hour at a range shooting this, I could teach her how to make that shot. It's not hard, and you don't need high-powered scopes. You don't have to be Chris Kyle, one of the greatest snipers ever lived. Like that, you don't need that level of skill. So it wasn't orchestrated, right? President Trump is the luckiest man on the planet today. But there's no way that you could have choreographed that.
Yeah, that turn and
right. You just couldn't have.
Yeah.
And it was the hand of God interceding in his life. Hopefully he doesn't waste it.
For sure.
But to be able to get that close, to be able to get on a rooftop, to have a ladder, to have a rifle, there is too many unknowns. And I honestly don't know in this day and age if we're ever going to know the truth.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
And then I think President Biden wants to ban assault rifles and all this other stuff. Like I just saw an article and I'm like, man, it's like that's gonna be impossible to do anyway. At least you come to Middleburg or you come down to to Jacksonville, Florida. You ain't taking guns. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, so obviously we have that going on. But also there's another shooting that happened a few weeks back with the Fulio and Young and Ace. That has been a hip hop. Well, it started in the streets, then it became a hip hop war, and obviously they're all from Jacksonville. Fulio got shot in Tampa, and one of the things that surrounding it is just the constant state of where we're at within neighborhoods and wars and beef. Obviously we're a faith-based company and we speak from a Christian perspective. How can we actually speak into this that brings holistic change? Obviously we can't go in there specifically and take all the guns and knives and all that stuff because you'll find something else to use as a weapon. But how do we actually affect change in our society?
Man, that's a good question, bro. So you can look at most violence that takes place, the incidents that you're discussing, the attempted assassination of President Trump. It falls into a lack of individuals understanding their identity. Yeah. Right? They are aligning themselves with a neighborhood, a political party, a gender, all of these different things that it's got to be Republican, it's got to be Democrat, it's this hood, it's that hood, come on, man. I grew up in every trailer park.
Yeah.
On the west side of Jacksonville. Okay? All right. I ain't repping the trailer park. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like there's so much more to life.
Yeah.
And until we get to a place where people can understand that they are created in the image of God to live out a purpose that comes with peace, hope, and joy. Right? Like you can't do anything else.
Yeah.
Because it's not about your neighborhood. It's not about, this song or that song. Because it's so Tom McDonald. Y'all know Tom McDonald? He's a rapper very much on the political spectrum.
Okay.
He dropped a song about Trump's assassination attempt within hours. Oh, wow. It's a great song. But when you listen to so many lyrics of so many songs, it's beef.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Like, it's just, in order for me to get clicks and views and downloads, I have to insult you. It's garbage, man.
Yeah.
That ain't cool. It's just garbage.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely pride. Satan, he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And everything is to divide. Left, right, blue, red, Republican, Democrat, this hood, north side, west side. It's all division, and that's Satan's plan.
Yeah,
it's to divide us,
100%.
to make us to dislike each other, and then that pride. And it's just crazy when you think about, we drive around Jacksonville all the time because of the business we're in, real estate, construction. We're driving around, drive through those neighborhoods, and most time it just looks mostly peaceful. I mean, it looks a little old.
Sure.
You could probably there's probably some signs.
For sure.
Probably don't want to go to this gas station.
Yeah.
But if people just really really focus on the things that would actually bring us together, things would be so much different.
100%.
Not just in Jacksonville, but in this world. Because when you really think about it, even between Christians and other faiths, there's more that unites us than what divides us.
100%.
But Satan is so clever; he's always dividing us. And if we learn how to kind of love our neighbor, love God, love our neighbor, like the two greatest commandments, I mean, we can really change. But that Satan's done such a good job to like make us not want us to fulfill those commandments, to want us to have division, want us to have that pride and have that hate. But how many people actually need to die?
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid. Like when people die, it's, I mean, it just sounds stupid, just to say it's done.
Yeah.
There's nothing like
for sure.
Julio ain't coming back. He's done. All these other people who have died before him, these guys are dead. And what are we going to keep doing? Like people are just going to keep killing each other. The next, person coming up. I mean, it's just stupid when you think about it, man. Life is so precious.
Yeah.
We are image bearers of God. We were made with a purpose, and the purpose of what these people are doing, killing each other, is not what God had planned. This is what Satan is smiling. He is so elated that people are killing each other over nonsense.
Yeah. One of the things that I think we all three of us come from, either it'd be the hood, low income housing, Section 8, whatever that kind of looks like in terms of, and I think it's easier to become a product of your environment. And I think, man, also if you think of social media and how it just inundates a young person to become what they see. And one of the things that is difficult, like if we're attacking the core issue, which is obviously the heart and which is sin and which is all those things, that we're attacking these things, the only way to reach people is to go and reach them. You know what I mean? I think we have a skewed perspective, in the church that says, we're just going to wait till they come here a bit. There's an element of us going out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's an element of us affecting change that way. And obviously people have to be willing to receive the free gift of salvation and all those things. But, one of the things that I was thinking about is, man, how did I make the world a better place today? How did I affect change today? How did I bring some level of encouragement, joy, peace to somebody's life? And I think if we started there as the millions of, Christ followers, or at least professing Christ followers, man, things would happen and things would bring change. Any more thoughts on that subject before we move forward?
I mean, it starts in the family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it all starts. You could probably look at everyone who's lost their life. They probably have a broken family. And that, again, that's also part of Satan's plan.
Yeah.
Is to divide the family. And, I'm 45 years old. I grew up in the projects. I'm proud of going out of the projects because I came out of it.
Yeah.
If I still lived at the projects and I never made myself out,
rags to riches.
It'd be a
Rags to
completely
riches.
different
Yeah,
story.
for sure.
And, and a lot of my toughness and my swag comes, from that. And I kind of carry it because it's, kind of part of, my personal identity.
Yeah.
But, man, it's just, like you said, it's going out, being missionaries, going into those communities. We try to do a little bit of it with our outreach. Obviously, we got a little bit of a hip hop swag here with the Christian hip hop that we do, putting on concerts and things like that. That's a form of outreach that we do. But I mean, it just the first step obviously just comes down to prayer.
Yeah.
Just praying for this city, praying for this state, praying for this country, praying for the world. But ultimately, God is in control of all things. And even though there's been these tragedies, we almost lost the former president, potential president again. Through these things, good will come out of the situations.
Yeah.
And to know, that He is in control, and to put our faith and trust in Him, and then just live our life as a witness. Because that's what people need. Because there's a lot of people who probably had bad relationships with the church for whatever reason, or they don't want to go back, or they left, or they were skeptical, or they got hurt. But us as individuals, we're all the church. The church is in the building, church is the body.
Yeah.
And if we just live our lives as a testimony to Jesus Christ, obviously we're sinners, so we're not going to always live up to 100% because we never can. But just us, the way we go about our lives, to be a witness, to hopefully draw people nearer to the the true Lord and Savior.
Yeah. So good. Anything else, Will?
Yeah, no, I just what I can control is me.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the question that we all have to ask.
Yeah.
Like, are we walking a positive, morally upright walk?
Yeah.
And when you talk about like going out and reaching, you think of just like what we're doing as an organization right now. Like we're recruiting top-notch sales professionals.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got to go find them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're gonna go and recruit, and you know, we're gonna do the ads, and we're gonna do these things. Like we're gonna go out to find what we need.
Yeah.
Right. So if we took that same methodology with society, right, what we need are people to stop shooting each other. What we need are people to start loving one another. So how am I going to do that? I got to go find people, because if that's important to me, then I got to go find people to help me do that.
Yeah.
You know, just like as the business, right? It's important that we sell roofs, because that's why we get to do all of these
100%,
things, right?
yeah.
So I got to go find people to help me do that. It's the thought process is not different, but sometimes we think like charity work and you know, mission work and church work and all of those things, somehow it's too complicated.
Yeah.
But if it's really important to you,
Yeah, for sure.
it's just part of your mission.
Yeah, yeah.
It's part of your mission. It's part of your purpose. It's part of your vision.
Values, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so you just go out and do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, with that being said, if you know anybody in the Jacksonville metro area, that's
We're hiring.
that's a 10 out of 10 sales professional. You know, like hit us up in the comments. We will we'll reach out to you and start that conversation.
And also, obviously, one of our services is real estate. And, you know, being a young man, 31 years old, if I was looking for a home in Jacksonville, what should I look for? Obviously, we talked about crime and in different places and spaces. So what should I look for as a, you know, incoming, you know, buyer?
Yeah, so real estate is hyper local, and especially in a tough market.
Yeah.
It's important to work with someone who has a beat on where we're at with every factor related to a transaction, rates, the kind of the code, the neighborhoods, the crimes, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, there's boundaries around what you can say, because you can't say don't go to this neighborhood because a certain, you know, whatever, you know, the schools are, you know, there's ways of saying things to help buyers understand where they want to invest for whatever, if it's their dream home, if it's an investment property, if it's looking for a multifamily, they want a duplex where they can live in one side, rent the other. So you want to get with a brokerage that actually has an ear to the street, that knows their neighborhoods. They know, you know, what's been on the market, what's been selling, all the factors that are important, because right now it's just really tough.
Yeah.
And most real estate professionals who got in, they got in when the rates were low, things were just selling, but they weren't really trained.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they didn't really have the skills. All they knew how to do was, hey, let's go. The things are selling fast, so just put an offer in over $25,000 over list, and you'll probably get it. But they didn't really know really how to be a real estate sales professional. So you definitely want to work with someone who's been in the game, who understands it, you know, from an inspector perspective, from an actual buyer, consumer, from having kids, who's been through these school systems in Florida, to knowing the area, who's done development all over the city, to know what areas are growing, which ones are kind of like turning, you know, the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because right now you can be led astray if you're working with the wrong person, and because the market is where it is, you don't want to waste your time.
Yeah.
You definitely want to have the best representation for you in a transaction.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, that's you hit it on the head. I got a phone call last week from a friend of mine that I was in the military with, who, like many people, are relocating to Florida.
Yeah, so many.
And the economy in Florida is doing well. There's growth. There's business expansion. There's a lot of opportunity that's in Florida. So if you know, and Jacksonville had made his short list. And so then just starting to ask the questions. Okay, why did Jacksonville make the short list? You know, what are you looking for? So he's in the medical device world. Okay, so a lot of hospitals, a lot of doctors, a lot of, you know, Mayo's here. You know, we got 4 hospitals within eyesight of this building. So it would be good economically for him to be close.
Yeah.
But he also wanted a little bit of land, and he wanted peace and quiet for his family. They have I think 6 kids, and they homeschool.
Yeah.
So they wanted to be out. So then we started.
Sounds like Meet the Duggars.
Yeah. So we started talking about, okay, well, you know, it's not just Jacksonville. You know, you got Baker County, you got Nassau County, St. Johns County, Clay County. There's there's a large area
Oh yeah.
around where we're at that just opens up so many different boxes to
Yeah.
buy in.
Yeah.
And so what is important to you? That was the question. Like,
Yeah.
what's important to you? What's important to your family? And then of course, income, comes into play. If you make, $40,000 a year, we're probably not going to take you to Ponte Vedra.
Yeah, for sure.
It just doesn't,
Yeah.
But if you make, $250,000 a year, yeah, I got a $2.2 million house I can sell you over
Yeah.
here. So the opportunity is there. But what's important to you?
100%.
What are you looking to be close to?
Yeah. Florida actually ranked number 1 in economy in the nation, and this is by CNBC. And we know every news outlet is kind of biased, but it was pretty cool to be ranked number 1
Sure.
out of the nation. That's pretty tight. Some of the stats are number 1 for new business formations. Then AAA credit rating. We got record budgets, surpluses. One of them is family focused tax relief, focus on workforce training, and then the last but not least, but paid down 36% of its debt since 2019. You know what I'm saying? So that's kudos to, Governor DeSantis and the work that he's doing. But also to you and those who are in local businesses doing what you guys are doing and providing incredible workforce and jobs. Man, as we move forward in the city of Jacksonville, the city just issued a permit for $34 million in the remodeling. I know you sent that over. Will, you have any takes on that?
Yeah, no, that's a big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
when we look at what's happening with the Jaguars and the core of the downtown area, that's a big deal. So that Union Terminal warehouse, I mean, that building was built in 1913.
Sheesh.
And to revitalize it, bring it back to, not even bring it back to its glory days, right? Because now to bring it into like where the city is going, it's new, it's fresh, it's going to be exciting. That's going to be, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's going to be something that everybody's going to see. It's housing, it's business, it's going to be, an epicenter for that to go. So we're about to start to see these like New Brooklyn, right? These little epicenters of life just pop up. That
can't wait.
We've been short of for a long time, in this city. So to see the movement start to happen, and once that does, like all of those reasons why Florida was ranked number 1, you're going to start seeing some of that be hyper focused into the Jacksonville area.
Yeah.
And as we talked about it last time, the Jaguars and their investment into the stadium.
100%.
It's like, okay, this is in the city's investment into the team.
Yeah.
And it's just going to keep going from here. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen. There's a lot that people don't talk about. There's $40 million in the Jacksonville area that was allocated by the state to help low-income families with rent, payments and things. So it's not as if the city is going here and leaving everybody behind. There's a lot, because you pay off a large portion of your debt. The state of Florida is reinvesting back into the community, right, to bring people up, which, we were just talking about politics, like Duval County is very much a 50-50, Republican Democrat world.
Yeah.
But the focus on developing the city, creating job opportunities, creating more affordable housing, reducing crime, like all living here. As much as, because I watch what the news says about Jacksonville that don't live here.
Yeah.
Living here and being involved in business and what's happening, like the city is nowhere near as divided as you would hear outside.
Yeah.
Right. It's okay. This is going to benefit everybody.
Yeah.
And that's really the focus and the goal. So our city government is really doing a beautiful job in that regard, in comparison to a lot of other places.
Yeah, and Scott, obviously you're a real estate, developer. You got all that stuff underneath your belt. Like, is this a good time? Like, if you are, real estate investor, if you're a developer, it's a good time to go all in. It seems like what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, so when you were going over the stats about Florida, the cat's been out the bag for a long time.
Yeah.
I just celebrated my ninth year of relocating to Florida back on July 10th. So
Yeah.
9 years and 6 days ago,
Congratulations.
I moved to the state, and it was kind of a secret back then. I remember just how cheap things were, and I was I was leaving Los Angeles
Yeah.
at the time, which Los Angeles was just. I mean, it's crazy now, but it was crazy back then.
It's apples and
And
oranges
like
there.
just what I bought my house for 9 years ago versus what it's worth today, it's more than doubled. It's just been insane. But the secret is almost out on Jacksonville. Jacksonville is probably the best city to be in the state. I think of it as being about 10 to 15 years behind Tampa and maybe 30 years behind Miami. I don't know if it would ever reach those levels. I don't think people actually really want it to become any of those cities because it has its own unique identity. But the development here is exciting because you're a native here. We're transplants. Taishina, she's I don't know you were born here or not. She's behind camera, but just to hear the people say, "Oh, Jacksonville's been saying this for years. Nothing happens." Well, it's happening now. You can look all around. I know we got a rainy day, but if you look out this window, you see cranes everywhere. And that's always a good sign. We see cranes. The Four Seasons is being built down there to the east of us by the stadium. Stadium obviously got $1.4 billion, and you got to do both. You have to have a private-public relationship.
Yeah.
And I know it's pretty conservative in this town, or at least the people who kind of owned the land was pretty conservative, and they didn't want to let go. They didn't want the development. And I believe in low taxes, but I'm also somebody who believes in investment. And I think it's wise. It's probably a good thing that things has taken as long as it has for the development. So finally, I think they got enough buy-in versus people who didn't want it to actually spend the tax dollars to invest in things. But now, other investors are coming into this area, putting up their own money to do these projects. So it's just really exciting to see.
Man, and so that ends our DeVore Live for today. But listen, just a few recaps so you guys can go home. Man, we are a company that builds things. That is DeVore Capital. We build anything and everything. You need a roof, we got it. You need a house, we got it. You need a complex built, man, we have it. You need something sold, we got you. So reach out to us either in the comments, on our social medias, all of it. We are at The Wheel on all social media platforms, and we have Scott Free DeVore on all platforms, as well as you can call us at 844 for DeVore, and that's 844 for DeVore. We love you guys, and we'll see you guys next week.